Hey guys, it's Draven Arts Productions here after 2 weeks of absence and a little bit of a hiatus. I am back to do another collection video, and this time we are going to be showcasing the Trackmaster slash Tomy slash Plarail collection. I have been collecting this range ever since I was a kid. I got the Risky Rails Bridge Drop set from 2012, and that led me to collect the Trackmaster and even the Tomy Plarail and the other stuff. That is why I love this range so much. So why not take a look at them, shall we? First off, we have Thomas, Edward, Henry, Gordon, James, Percy, Toby, Duck, 2012 Donald, 2012 Douglas, Diesel, Daisy, which I had updated her recently, Oliver, Mavis, the Flying Scotsman, the Marklin Engine, Timothy the Ghost Engine, Mallard, Stepney, which he had a little bit of motor issues, so I may need to get another Stepney to replace it someday. Airy, Bert, Lady, Diesel 10, which the chassis that it's on right now is the custom Daisy, and because that his face has got scratched and his sides are scratched, I may need to have a replacement Diesel 10. Maybe someday I will customize this Diesel 10 into D199 or something. And then Splatter, Salty, Harvey, which is the helpful Harvey, Emily, Arthur, the Royal Spencer, which I don't use him that often anymore, and his face is a little bit scratched up, so I may need to have the regular version of Spencer. The original Lavender Pink Rosie, the Red Cherry Livery Rosie, Stanley, which I don't use him that often because of his age, and he doesn't seem to work anymore. Even a long time ago, when my brother just gave him all of 3 S's, and then I just covered them up with white washable paint. Alright, anyways. Hero, Charlie, Bash, who isn't working anymore. I'll have to get another one eventually. Dash, Ferdinand, Scruff, Bell, Flynn, Dart, Paxton, Norman, Winston, Stafford, Stephen, Porter, Gator, Timothy, Marion, Samson, Glenn, Ryan, Philip, Ashima, Raul, Gina, and then right beside Philip and Ashima, there are the sides for my long and anticipated Axel of Belgium, which, man, I really need to get a couple Spencers at some point. Shane, Yong Bao, Hugo, Theo, Lexi, Merlin, Hurricane, Frankie, the Gray Tender Engine, the Chinese Tender Engine, Nia, Rebecca, Gustavo, Lorenzo, Kenji, Duchess of Loughborough, and Duchess of Hambleton. Here are my narrow gauge engines. Scarloli, Rheneas, Sir Handel, Peter Sam, Rusty, Duncan, Duke, Smudger, Fearless Freddy, which his motor doesn't seem to work anymore and his stickers are almost coming off, so I have yet to get either the Plarail counterpart of him or the Hit Toys Company version of him with the bike. Victor and RC Luke, and the only miniature gauge engine that Trackmaster had produced in the range, Mike. And I never use this guy that much because I prefer the capsule Plarail versions and the take and play versions, but I would like to get the take and play versions someday. Here are my non-rail vehicles. Motorized 2021 Terrence. This short stub P Tomy Terrence. Tomy Trevor. And then Harold, which came in the Trains and Cranes Super Tower set. And then Harold from the Superstation. And then the first version of Harold that I ever owned from that Sky High Bridge Jump set. The blades are a little bit bent, and the face and all that. Yeah. Caroline, Oliver, the excavator. Max, Trackmaster Kevin, which came in the Digging for Treasure pack from 2019. Plarail Kevin, Trackmaster Ace, Plarail Ace, Emerson, and the Ugly Duckling Darcy from the Cave Collapse set. Here are my boat characters. Or boats, as I would say. Tomy Bulstrode, 2020 Motorized Bulstrode. Captain from the Captain at the Rescue Center. Brown Skiff from the Treasure Chase set, and you can definitely see the age on his face and almost everything else. And then the blue version of Skiff, which came with Hugo, and then the motorized version of Skiff that came with the green drawbridge, and then 2 ferries from the Boat and Sea set, and Stefano, the Super Cruiser. I was originally going to remove the minis, but I decided to keep them because it will take me a heck of a lot of time. Also, side note, remember my Thomas Minis collection? Well, I completely forgot to show you Victor as Hawkman. I'm terribly sorry for that. Here are my cranes. Cranky from the Monkey Adventure set. And then another version of Cranky, which came in the Hyperglow Night Delivery set. And then 2020 Motorized Cranky. Beresford. Carly. My custom Carly. Cassia. And All Engines Go Carly. And don't worry, we will get to the All Engines Go stuff eventually. Now we move on to my extra engines. So we have Thomas, which came in the Thomas and Terrence pack, and this is the one that I've used. And then a broken up Thomas, and then various Thomas chassis, including the one which used to be Bluebell. Another Thomas, and then various Thomases over the years, etc. And then Reds versus Blue Thomas. The Coal Dust Thomas from that 2-in-1 Destination set. Seaweed Thomas. Streamline Thomas. Trophy Thomas. Sky High Bridge Jump Thomas. Steelworks Thomas. Scrapyard Escape Set Thomas, Superstation Spark Thomas, 2 Boat and Sea Set Thomas, Surprise Face Thomas from the Thomas and Ace the Racer pack, Turbo Thomas, and Turbo Jungle Thomas. He's missing his chassis because a long time ago I attempted to swap the motor with Percy, but absolutely failed. So that's why that I gave the motor along with Turbo, Percy, and Diesel because of their motor burned out modages. Hyperglow Station Thomas, Monkey Mania Thomas, Monkey Palace Thomas, Tiger Thomas, Fireball Thomas, Armored Thomas, which I spray painted his helmet. Digging for Treasure Thomas, Walking Bridge Set Thomas, Monkey Adventure Set Thomas, Monkey Thomas, from the Solar Safari range, Celebration Thomas, Golden Thomas, Rainbow Thomas, Talking 2020 Thomas, Talking 2021 Thomas, Custom Snow Cover Thomas, Custom Railway Series Thomas, Annoyed Thomas, Plarail Thomas from the Wagon set, which I have used him for a literal school project back in 2023. LBSC Thomas, the Blushing Thomas from the Thomas, Nia, and Ace Go-Go Adventure set, Thomas with Sparks from the Thomas Chasing Kenji set, Blue Henry, which his motor isn't working anymore, and the lining is very pink to me, even on camera. Although it may be a little bit red on some areas, but man, the lining is pink. Gordon, which I used to use in the past. Snowy Gordon. Shooting Star Gordon. Plarail Shooting Star Gordon. Elephant Gordon. Talking Interactive Gordon. James. Scared Face James. Talking James, which I don't even know if he literally works anymore. I'll have to check him eventually. Busy as a Bee James. Real Steam James. He does have that little pump thing to squirt water into him, but I just can't find it. I just couldn't find it in time. 2021 Interactive Talking James. Celebration James. Tomy OG James. Original Black James. Percy. Talking 2015 Percy. Racing Percy. Animal Party Percy. Talking Interactive 2020 Percy. Sodor Safari Panda Percy. Percy Takes the Plunge. Celebration Percy. Custom Railway Series Percy. A second Helpful Harvey. OG Tomy Toby, which left of him, which I literally destroyed him back in 2019. Although maybe someday I will have to use his parts for a potential Bradford custom. Talking Toby. Oliver. Bloodshot-eyed Timothy the Ghost Engine. Diesel. Talking Interactive 2021 Diesel. Plarail Nia. Celebration Nia. The Sodor Safari Nia and the Elephant, which I couldn't get her out in time. Nia, which I used her to make a snowy version of Nia. But since I covered her up with all that washable paint, it's very unlikely I will do a snowy cover version of Nia again. Plarail Rebecca. Rebecca's original basis, and then another motorized Rebecca, which what's left of her basically, because I use her buffer beam for the snowplow bit. Digging for Treasure Gina. Young Bao and the Tiger. Fiery Flynn with this very old Thomas sticker. And then another Fiery Flynn, which I turned it into his original basis, and it hasn't aged very well. Talking Victor's Big Splash. Arthur in his original basis, which I think his wheel doesn't even literally grip with the other wheel anymore. And since I couldn't get his face screwed up, he's literally stuck being put on manually and sometimes having his face taken off and looking like his bases. Ryan from 2015. Steven the Rocket, which left of him is that his chassis is gone and what only remains is his shell body, his tender is literally, his couplings are gone and the chassis itself is about to be broken, and that's what's left of it basically. Ringing Tekuro Ashima. Plarail Hurricane. Stanley, which I cannot find his face in time, and what's left of him is that I swapped chassis with the Fisher-Price one. So yeah, his motor is not working since I believe either 2016 or so, when I got him for Christmas. And as for the shell itself, this is from like the Fisher-Price model. And then Hero, which his tender has the glow-in-the-dark wheels because I gave the red wheels to my Chinese tender engine custom. Plarail Tomy Harvey. Hyperglow Thomas. Hyperglow Delivery Set Thomas. Hyperglow Kevin. Hyperglow Ashima. Hyperglow Nia. And Pullback Kenji, which was a freaking last-minute decision to bring him. And I do apologize for this last-minute decision on my part. I also forgot that I have Tonal Blast Set Diesel. And now here is my pieces of rolling stock. And believe me, they are a lot of them. Annie, Clarabelle, red versus blue versions of Annie and Clarabelle, the Tomy Plarail 2018 versions of Annie and Clarabelle, snowy versions of Annie and Clarabelle, the talking interactive versions of Annie and Clarabelle, Henrietta, which the paper face that I gave her did not age very well at all. Helena, Victoria, Old Slow Coach, which she is breaking a little bit. It would be impossible to get a second one now. Unless if I find the Celebration Pack again for a very decent price. Ann, Yinlong, Beppe, Aubrey, and Aiden, which are cardboard, which are literally made of cardboard, and they didn't age very well, and they haven't aged very well, and they're about to be breaking apart. So, yeah. At this point, I need to get more express coaches to make those guys. The green express coaches, red express coaches, the 2021 express coach, red branch line coaches, another red branch line coach, which can literally do this, custom made red branch line coaches, which I made them by using the second versions of Annie and Clarabelle from Red vs. Blue Thomas. And then 2 transformation rolling stock, which can turn into a coach, and then a van, and the other, a red coach to a male van. And then 4 reddish brown branch line coaches, 2 royal coaches, the Duke and Duchess's coach, Shooting Stars coach, the Works Unit coach, Golden Thomas's coach, the Brazilian coach, or Brazil coach, Gustavo's coach, the open-topped carriages, the Olstead Castle coach, Ada, Jane, Mabel, Toad, 2 versions of Scruffy, rebuilt Scruffy, Rickety with his various facial expressions, Bucky, Le, various male cars, the scrap car with accessories from Rebecca, and then the Troublesome Vans, which I have completed recently, but for the other one, not so much. And then various Troublesome trucks, not only gray, but also in various colors. Here are the ones that came with Lady, the ones from Diesel 10, and then these particular cars from the Thomas and the Wagon set. I do apologize for the lack of cargo. I just couldn't find them in time. And then a yellow troublesome truck, and then two versions that came with Rosie, Red Rosie to be in fact the troublesome truck with coffee, and then a Brazilian salt van, I think, and then two vans, and then a custom troublesome truck, and then the truck with tarp, and then trucks with cargo, the trucks that came with Philip, the Scrapyard Escape set trucks, the Scrapyard Escape set truck with the gear and all, and then one of the troublesome trucks who can wiggle, another car, another one of these cars, a sugarcane car, the glow-in-the-dark car from the Hyperglow delivery set, the wobbly troublesome milk, the troublesome tanker, the truck with monkeys that came in the Monkey Palace set, Monkey Mania Thomas's cars with monkeys, and then a truck that came with RC Percy, which it has seen better days. I literally tried to do like a scruffy custom, but that didn't do so hot. Thank goodness I literally have this type of scruffy. The Blue Mountain Quarry cars, one of them the slate car and the other a literal car. The Blue Mountain Quarry car that came with the Talking Thomas and Percy train set or the All Around Soda Deluxe set. And then the truck that came with Paxton, and then another truck that came in that Carly Crossing set, the flatbed from the Thomas, Nia, and Ace Go-Go Adventure set, and then the tree flatbed from Thomas and Terrence. The milk churn car, the sliding door van thing, two cattle vans in different colors, Lexi's scrap car, the Sodor Fireworks car. It's missing its chassis because I used it for the open-topped carriages, or Ada, Jane, and Mabel, I think. The Blast Booster 7, the oil tanker from that Dart Pump and Oil set, Sodor Fuel Tanker, another tanker, a milk tanker, the Troublesome Milk Tanker, Mr. Jolly's chocolate tanker, the truck with the tarp from Percy and Bruno, two trucks that came with the Cassia set, and one of them came from the set as well, but I haven't had the time to find it in time. The two trucks the flatbed and truck that came with Porter, the truck that came with Mike, apparently, I think, and then the truck with the hay bales that came with Muddy Thomas, and then four trucks that came with Rosie. The teal, bluish, green tanker, the Indian tanker, the flatbed that came with Rowell and Emerson, a random classic Trackmaster flatbed, and then the truck that came with Scared James, the Copper Mine car truck, yeah, and then the truck that came with in the Superstation, and then another truck that came in the Shipwreck Rail set, and it is the only literal item to survive that I literally have, because unlike that Dirt Thomas, I absolutely destroyed him a long time ago. The truck that came in the Trains and Cranes Super Tower set, another truck with a snake from Thomas and Ace the Racer, Helpful Harvey's cars, another car, and then the two drums that came with Golden Thomas and the other party train Percy. And then the Brendan Bay Shipping Co. van, the Ice Cream Factory van that came with Talking Percy, 3 cars from the Digging for Treasure 3-pack, armored Thomas's cars, including the one with the Lion of Sodor, which I sprayed it gold, and then Gina's cars, including the one with the drill bit, the explosive dynamite car, 2 fire hose cars that came with Flynn, a ladder car that came with Belle, and then a paint spilled car, Trophy Thomas's cars, and then the car that came with Shooting Star Gordon. Yeah, the car that came from Shooting Star Gordon. And then another car with the glow-in-the-dark load. And then Animal Party Percy's cars with the zebra and camel. And then 2 cow cars from Muddy Thomas and Talking Diesel. And then the flatbed with the horse figure. One of the oldest that I literally have, honestly. Rocky's flatbed, the Refreshment Lady's tea stand, the flatbed that came with Terrence, a truck's chassis, the slag cars, another truck, and then Bradford, which he's literally just long gone. So maybe someday I will have to make a new Bradford. And then the slate car that came with Yong Bao, and then the bouncy cargo truck who was in the Thomas and the Wagon set, the mine trolley car, the Sodor mining car, the car with the steel beam, and then the car with hay bales from the Busy as a Bee James, and then the car that came with Merlin, and then a car that came with Nia and the elephant, which I could not find the slate car with the elephant in on time, and then a truck that came in the Risky Rails bridge drop set, the Rock Crusher, which doesn't even seem to work, or maybe the batteries have stopped working. I don't know. And then the winch, a truck with the load from Hugo and Skiff, the brake van with Bonteen, and then the brake van which says E178569 20 ton, an Indian brake van, and then a black caboose brake van, I think. And then the flatbed that came with Samson, the flatbed that came with Ace, and then the truck that came with Nia and the elephant, in case if you're wondering. The Deliver the Wind diesel cars, the Rainbow van, the Breakdown crane, and Jerome. As for the other rolling stocks, they're still in their literal packaging because I wanted to keep them as they are instead of being out of the box most of the time. So let's go through all of them. Yeah, that's why I wanted to keep them in their packaging. And now, here is my All Legends Go items. And if you literally think that I would have a lot of them, then you're wrong. And the reason being is that they're way too big. That's why I prefer the push-along versions. Anyways, let's get on to them, shall we? So we have Muddy Thomas, paint delivery set, Thomas. And then the troublesome truck with the paint on his face that came with these paint cans. Party Train Percy. The Percy that came with Percy and Bruno. Determined Percy. Deliver the Wind Diesel. Talking with his flatbed with that gadget which can go on top of his funnel like so. And then two versions of Bruno. One of them looking right and the other facing forward. And that is my entire collection of Trackmaster / Motorized / Tomy / Plarail. I am so glad that it's finally done. That took me a crud ton of time to make, and I'm so happy with the result. I hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and let me know what are your thoughts on the particular range as a whole. This is Draven Edwards, and I'll see you again next time. Take care, everyone.